through this reform that has kind of restructured and redefined the functions of the whole UN system. So let me end my presentation by underpinning the pivotal role that you all play as data officers, economists, and statisticians. I believe you are aware that your capacities are a vital asset for improving policy and program coordination and coherence, both at the horizontal level, at the country with the different thematic areas, but also vertically starting at the community level to subnational level, all the way to country capitals and New York. So for instance, when a decision is made to decouple climate change from economic growth, can you provide the clear evidence-based information to help the government and the country team to better understand its impact and help make strategically prioritized and sequenced decisions? And there has to be, again, based on substantiated, verified information, which is underpinned by data. Given that we all work in a very highly networked and fastly evolving environment, especially with artificial intelligence becoming much more predominant form of generating and sharing information, what would be really critical is for you to form these strategic partnerships to explore new types of data sources and tools for sustainable development. So for instance, can all of you in partnership with others help realize the UN family's data potential everywhere? The UN system, working together with the governments, civil society, and the private sector, can collectively discover, identify, and scale solutions, like the ones that I mentioned earlier. Investors, we can also direct more resources to where it is needed. With the reliable, timely, and accurate data, we can also do many things differently. So for instance, help communities fight COVID-19 and prepare better for the next pandemic. Another example is mitigating the impact of natural disasters, because we know the scale and the scope and the level, and better prepare before they unfold. And to also protect global biodiversity and oceans and save the planet for us and for the future. So supporting data innovation at scale is worth the investment, and establishing the UN families and beyond global network of this data experts and the labs is an incredibly important step. Data can help make better decisions, deliver stronger support to people and planet, and of course help unlock countries' full potential. And this is exactly what we are trying to achieve. So underpinning all of this work is the leadership and partnership from all of you. So when the country team can effectively support national statistical systems and the colleagues, we can accurately monitor and deliver quality report on SDG indicators, targets, and goals. Ultimately, as a result of all of that, we will not have left anyone behind. Let me thank you very much for this opportunity, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Son, for this inspiring talk at the very beginning, and for being with us. And let me assure you, there were some tiny little problems with your image at some moments during your presentation, but your message and voice was coming through loud and clear, so that is wonderful. And I always like it. Of course, it's nice if others say that data are important. We say that all the time, but it's our trait. I had that actually also in my speaking notes, but I thought, let me trust that my colleague from the other side, more from the user side, will actually make that pitch, and I think that worked out very well. Thank you also for giving us a concrete example based on your experience, how a partnership in a country context was able to address a very specific and solve, it seems, a specific problem. So I think that's exactly the spirit with which we come to the table here. Partnerships, 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 getting the right people to talk to each other is critical. Thank you also for emphasizing the regional dimension, which you are working with right now, and that is critically important. We are focusing very often on the national, and then we have our contribution from the global side. But of course, the regional dimension and our partners in regional offices and the UN agencies and our regional commissions are critically important. And I also thank you for one word that you used, investment. And as a data person, and this is one of my favorite words because I think I'm always trying to make the pitch that it's worth to invest in data. It's not a cost, an expenditure. It is an investment in the infrastructure of a country of the future. So thank you for making that point. So I look at the participant numbers. We are now over 100. And of course, I like to believe in my dementia as a statistics director that there are thousands on YouTube that I don't even see and know, and they are all interested in data and statistics this morning. So thank you for all of you for being here. And I hope you really take the message that Ms. Sons has strongly made. You are in the lead. Each and everybody who is listening to this today has a role to play to move this forward. So the next point on the agenda is my colleague, Mrs. Yong-Yi Min, who is my Chief of SDG Monitoring Section in the UN DESA Statistics Division, and who was very instrumental putting this network and this event together. So Yong-Yi is going to make a presentation on what the network of data officers is all about. So the floor is yours, Yong-Yi.
Thank you very much, Stefan, and thank you for the introduction. So as Stefan said, my name is Yong-Yi Min. I work for the UN Statistical Division. So as we heard from Ms. Song that mentioned the lack of timely, quality, open, and disaggregated data currently severely limiting informed decision making for achieving the SDGs and for the COVID-19 responses. So to meet these data challenges, one way is to try to connect statistician, data experts, data scientists, and geospatial information experts around the world together. Next slide, please. So on October 2020, on the World Statistical Days, the Statistical Division launched a global network of data officers and statisticians. This is a professional, global professional network for statisticians, data officers, economists, data scientists, and geospatial information experts from the national statistical system, the UN system, including the resident coordinator officers and the UN country team, and the international regional organization, and some key partners, data partners around the world. It's a facilitated professional online social community hosted on Yammer platform. It aims to facilitate the work of the UN and the other partners in their support to national governments to build a resilient and sustainable national data and information system for the full implementation of the 2030 agenda through collaboration, knowledge sharing, networking, and technical support. As Stefan mentioned, since its launch, the global network has grown to a strong global community of 1,200 members currently, and over 550 messages has been posted on the network and were read by around 50,000 times. Next slide, please. So look at the current demographics of the network. We have about 650 colleagues from different UN entities colleagues, including 80 colleagues from the resident coordinator officers, about 430 colleagues from the National Statistical System from around 88 countries, and more than 100 colleagues from non-UN organizations and from key data partners of CSOs and academias. We hope to, through this events, we can invite more colleagues from National Statistical System and also the UN Resident Coordinator Officer to join. Next slide, please. So the main objectives of global networks are to improve coordination and collaboration among peers and organizations, and to connect existing but not necessarily well-connected network and initiatives, and to provide and share information on capacity building efforts globally. What you can do on the network is evolve the 4 Cs. On coordination, the networks hope to foster improve the coordination between National Statistical Office and the whole National Statistical System. And within the regions and through regional commissions support between the National Statistical System and the UN entities, and among the UN country teams, and among the different international and regional organizations, and in general between statistical and geospatial information community. On collaboration, we want to increase collaboration among National Statistical Office and systems, and build new partnerships and foster synergies of the different data partners by offering a tool for discussion, information sharing, and connecting colleagues from all entities at all levels. On capacity development, we want to build capacity through sharing knowledge and best practices, provide possibility to request and offer support and training by pools of experts on different topics and from different statistical domains, and announce webinars and other events, organically build a knowledge base and the connection. So through this network, we want to connect existing networks, initiatives, and intergovernmental bodies, and globally connect colleagues anywhere and at any time. Next slide, please. So in the next few slides, I will give a few examples of how the current use case of the global network. The first one is it can be used for knowledge sharing. For this one, and one college from the UN Statistical Division share this STAT Act 2. Then the second one is we announced from the chair of the CCSA announced the publication of the COVID related to COVID-19. Next slide, please. And in here, you also can find advertisements for job and consultants for colleague and data expert looking for new opportunities. Here we have an opportunity from UNICEF, and currently on the network, there's another temporary statistician opportunity from the UN Statistical Division. And we also use this network to celebrate big statistical event such as the World Statistical Day, and currently we use the network to share information on all the more than 50 side events of the Statistical Commission. Next slide, please. And we also use the network to announce new publication tools and conduct global consultations. And so this is has been used by colleagues around the world. Next slide, please. So in addition to this shared by the members on the network, we also have some facilitated activities. So we organize a building strong data ecosystem for SDG webinar series. So for almost each month, except this month, due to the many numbers of the side events of the Statistical Commission. We also provide trainings on communication for all members of global network, because I think there's one thing that the data expert and statistics lacking, the communication. So we try to improve the communication on data and the statistics. We also offer this my work session to encourage everyone to read and share their work, and also the Ask Me Anything session to answer questions raised by members and proactively point out different resources. And we also have a Q&A session, and we had the first Q&A session by Stefan, our director, and we're also going to organize a follow-up Q&A session with different data experts around the UN and outside the UN. And we also carry out polls and surveys throughout the network. And the Stefan mentioned that we currently try to form different groups on the network, and the different groups can serve different purposes. They support expert group, task team, interagency expert groups to continue their discussions between their regular meetings, and it allows for topic specific and open discussion, and also serves a user support forum. So in here you can ask questions and get public support and answer on different topic, and it's also support regional discussion actions, and provide a communication channel between the resident coordinate office, UN country team, and the whole global statistical community. So currently on the network, we have 5-6 groups already. One CEA focal point groups, and system of environmental economic accounting, and one machine learning for official statistics. We have one particular focus on training for the UN and colleagues, statistical training in the UN. We have one on population and housing census. We have another one on transport statistics. So we also encourage the colleague to form groups according to a theme and also based on the regions. Next slide, please. So I just want to highlight some of the facilitated events we organized. So in the past, around the Building Strong Data Ecosystem for SDG series, we had so far 4 webinars already. And for example, in November, we have the national data and the data platforms. So we invite we call solution providers and the countries to share their experience on using different data and metadata platforms. Follow up to this webinar, the different country also share more detailed information on the different platforms on the network and provide the rich resources. As I mentioned, we have a Q&A session and the first February by Stefan on let's discuss the next norm for statistics, and we are trying to plan for the next speakers and line up a few of the famous statisticians around the world focus on different topics. On training on communication, we already held one on effective webinars, and we plan to have a creating and maintenance group on the global network. This is going to happen in the middle of March. We also plan to have communicating in the professional network and communicating data and statistics. This is in the pipeline. So all these webinars and trainings are recorded. So if you just join the network now, you still can watch them. And so all these facilitated events is facilitated by mainly currently by UN SD staff member with a group of key contributors from our division and a few from the UNICEF colleagues. So it can be expanded soon to other colleagues who want to take a lead in certain topics. Next slide, please. So what's the future of the network? We want to facilitate food collaboration between statisticians, data scientists, geospatial experts, and also like among the resident coordinator and UN country team staff members. We want to form a community of practice around data and statistics. We want to foster collaboration through the creation of the thematic and regional groups, and build capacity in identify the field and improve communication skill of the members of network. And we also provide the member with essentially training and resource environment. Eventually, we want to build a organically built knowledge base throughout the network. Next slide, please. Okay. I guess there's a few slides missing, but we provided the link on how to join the network. If you have not joined the global network, please join by following the link we shared at the bottom, and sign up today with your work email address. And we also have the easy-to-use mobile application for Android and iOS, and help you to connect with colleagues anywhere and anytime. We hope that you can use this network to share knowledge on new data solutions and technologies, and to improve collaboration and to forge partnerships. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yonggi, for so passionately presenting the network, and not only what it is currently and what it already has done in the very few weeks that it has been active, and obviously very successful in attracting people. I look at it as like the statistical forum romanum. So that's a place where everybody comes together and discusses what they are interested in. And I see that the chat already heating up a little bit, and people putting real concrete questions, like one from Indonesia on small area estimates and data disaggregation. That's exactly how this is supposed to work. So thank you again to you. And as one of my old bosses once said, no good deed goes unpunished. So for doing a wonderful job in doing a presentation now, and for also, of course, supporting me and the office always with your fantastic work. I mean, everybody should know that you are Mrs. SDG report. If we do have an annual SDG report at the highest level that goes to the General Assembly, it's mostly because you spend lots of sleepless nights working very, very hard to put the best data from the UN system together to put in front of the General Assembly. So thank you for that, and thank you for your presentation. And I'm handing over to you the moderating role now for the second part of this event. And thank you everybody for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan, for your support. So I will take over from here and introduce our excellent panelists for the next discussion. The first panelist we will have Mr. Rashid Hassanova, economist, and Ms. Gula Fatali, the data manager and the result monitor reporting officer from UN resident coordinator officer in Azerbaijan. Rashid and Gula will present their work with the Azerbaijan national government and the National Statistical Office on supporting data and information system for SDG. Particularly, they organized a SDG workshop on data disaggregation in last December. So we'd like to hear from them. Over to you, Rashid and Gula.
Thank you very much, Yonggi. And I would also like to greet our panelists and all the participants, and feeling very privileged to be part of this session. And thank you for the opportunity for us to share our some highlights from our work with the State Statistics Committee in Azerbaijan. And I would kindly ask you to please put the presentation on.
Yep, just a second. We will put the presentation on.
Yes, can we go to the second slide, please? So yes, I think everyone here would confirm that the data challenges today, they're not really unique to any country. I mean, most of the challenges we are facing at the country level, even not the same, but most of the challenges are similar, whether it's about the data availability or its quality, reliability, or disaggregation. So those are all the challenges that we were facing at the country level, and we identified those challenges as a result of some analysis and assessments we have carried out in the country. So that includes the final evaluation of UN-Azerbaijan Partnership Framework document, the previous UNDAF, and also the Common Country Analysis document. But at the same time, the government here, they also recognized these challenges related to SDG data monitoring and reporting in their voluntary national review reports that they are submitting to the high-level political forum. So that was an entry level for us as a UN office in Azerbaijan to make the further step with the State Statistics Committee and established the joint task force and join our efforts within the framework of this task force to address some of these challenges. So the first task of the task force, it was to complement the already existing assessments and analysis we have in our hand to look deeper and in detail what are the existing mechanisms and processes in regard to SDG monitoring and reporting in the country. So we have done this assessment with in-house capacity and also utilized some of the corporate guidelines. And but I think the novelty for this assessment was to also bring in the user perspective that we did a survey and questionnaire with the development partners and civil society organizations. And the assessment, the findings and recommendations of this assessment, they helped us to prioritize the work stream and to come up with a joint work plan for this group that we can focus our efforts on several concrete directions and activities. Next slide, please. And those areas, one of the areas was to, of course, improve production and communication of SDG data at the country level. The government is doing a lot of work in this regard. Currently, they are producing around 38% of the global SDG indicators, and also they have established a web platform which is publicly accessible to everyone, and where they're making available the data for all SDG indicators. But of course, now we need to work together to advance the production of the SDG data and also to improve ways how we communicate it. The other area and the work stream is to how we can better disaggregate and also cover the people that are not represented in the official statistics. And this includes most of the time the vulnerable groups and the people from the grassroots. And the other area in the work stream is to promote the use of alternative and innovative data sources, but at the same time to engage civil society and other non-traditional actors, which is not a current practice in the country nowadays. So the work is ongoing, and of course we cannot cover all the activities that we are doing at the country level. So that's why I will ask my colleague Rashad to focus on one of the items, which is data disaggregation, and give you more highlights on what we have done so far in this area. Please, Rashad.
Thank you, Güler. Good morning and good afternoon, colleagues, depending on where you are. Thank you for inviting us to this very important meeting. So as Güler mentioned, we decided to concentrate our efforts, take step-by-step approach. Can I move to the next slide, please? So the first thing we decided to prioritize the data disaggregation, the practices of improving the data disaggregation in the context of Azerbaijan. So as a first step, we decided to organize an international workshop for SDG data disaggregation, which Yongi and other colleagues kindly participated and contributed, and we thank them for that. It was kind of a brainstorming session, so to say, to understand what other countries in the world are doing to improve the data disaggregation, and all sorts of, to understand what methods are there, what are the low-hanging fruits, etc. So to this end, we had this two-day workshop with the statistical committee, where we had 18 presenters sessions, and the presenters were coming from very diverse background. As I said, from they were represented from the UN specialized agencies. We had representatives from the government. We had representatives from Office of the Statistical Office of UK and Kyrgyzstan. IFI was there, etc. So this basically helped us to get the perspectives on data disaggregation from various levels, from academia, from government offices, etc. So, and we tried to cover as broad topics as possible, from the methodology to use of innovative data sources and other aspects of the data disaggregation. So once we had this workshop and we heard the experience of other countries, we decided to put together a guidebook for the disaggregation of the SDG data. Can I have the next slide, please? So the guidebook is in the process of development. We are working closely with the joint task force, which includes the State Statistical Committee as well. It's under the draft. The first draft is almost ready, and we hope to publish it by the end of March. So the guidebook will basically, I just would like to quickly share in the next minute or so, this the structure of the guidebook to discuss the current state of disaggregation, SDG disaggregation in Azerbaijan, and identify their challenges and opportunities. And then it will, just based on these challenges and opportunities, it will provide a way forward. So we will we propose two approaches. One approach will be improving the existing methodologies that the State Statistical Committee applies, and the second one is using innovative techniques to improve, to expand beyond their capabilities. So, and I don't want to go into details, but based on these two approaches, we propose two methodologies that would help to improve the data disaggregation in the context of Azerbaijan. These are pretty much the low-hanging fruits, which can be done with current existing structure and capability of the statistical committee, or would require little technical and financial assistance from donors. So, as I said, the draft, the document will be published hopefully in mid to late March. And as we started developing this, we thought this could actually become a part of a serial publication. So this would be the first publication, and we hope to, if it goes successfully, we hope to publish another one by the end of this year, and if it can continue further. So I think that's about it for me. I think we need to conclude with one last slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashad. Of course, the list of activities are very ambitious, and we cannot maybe address all these challenges within the framework of the task force. So the good news for us, at least, is that we could get the data as one of the sole outcome areas for our new UNSDCF, the cooperation framework, which is starting this year. And but at the same time, we make sure that all the indicators at the outcome level, they are by default chosen from the list of SDG indicators, and also to make sure that the data is cross-cutting through all outcome areas in our current cooperation framework, which will last from this year until 2025. And at the same time, we are also closely working with the government to make the every edition of the voluntary national reviews more data-driven, and the next one is going, the third one it will be presented at the HLPF this summer. And another opportunity for us, and of course, this session is a clear example for that, is the availability of the regional and global forums that we can get in contact with the peer colleagues and experts, and also to learn and share with each other, which the Global Network of Data Offices and Statisticians is one example, and the others by UNEC or led by regional DCO offices. And those also provide us an opportunity to be able to advance the work we do at the country level with the statistics offices and other partners. So on this note, again, I would like to thank you for giving this opportunity, and welcoming any questions or feedback if you would have to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gula and Rashid, and I'd like to congratulate both of you on this excellent work done on the data statistics of Azerbaijan. And I guess you have a lot of good experience to share. I just saw from the chat from Sally George to ask you, can you please share with us the assessment and the joint work plan after the webinar? I think it's really good examples that you can share with other countries and colleagues also from the resident coordinating officers. So congratulations. So let's move on to our next panelist. And the next panelist is Mr. Alamgir Hossain, the focal point officer from SDGs cell of Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics, and Ms. Halima Nayamat, the data management and result monitoring reporting officer from UN resident coordinator officer in Bangladesh. So, so over to you. I guess Ms. Halima, you're going to present first.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ige, for giving us the floor, and in Statistics Division for inviting us. So today we will be giving a short presentation, which will be focusing on the Bangladesh context, building partnership for better data for SDGs. So today I am here with my colleague from the statistical organization, Mr. Alamgir Hossain, focal point at the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. So I will go through the presentation first, and then he will come up with the additional points. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so before going for the presentation, I just want to echo with Stephen that he mentioned data is important. Data is really important. Quality data is important, and timely data is important to ensure the SDG monitoring, to ensure the key principles for SDG, that is leave no one behind, and the whole society approach. In Bangladesh, we are working from the RCO and Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. So the key partnerships are basically in 4 different areas. And those are coordination, capacity building, technical assistance, and communications. Can we move to the second slide?
Halima, we cannot hear you anymore.
You can hear me?
No, now it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so I was heard in the last slide, or do I need to start from this one? Is it okay?
You can start from this one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So basically, so in Bangladesh, we have from the coordination perspective, we have UN Data Group. So the UN Data Group was formed by the data officials or from the different UN agencies who exist in Bangladesh. So the purpose of the data group, the mandate, I would say, it's basically 3 key mandates. It's a national statistical support, strengthening the national statistical capacity, to basically ensure the collection, analysis, and dissemination of disaggregated data. support the SDG monitoring structure and channel the coordination between government and UN country team activities related to data, and most importantly, support the enhancing evidence-informed policy analysis. So UNRC office does provide the secretariat support for UN data group, and we also have a joint work plan. We have a lot of activities. If anybody interested, we can share that. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, on the capacity development, the activities that has been collectively supported from UN and also from the data group and also RCO facilitate is support the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics on the administrative data methodology development. And also we also coordinate among the custodian agency who are involved with their sector respective sectoral ministries in piloting, supporting, producing data for SDG indicators. We have initiated a project with the support from UN Statistic Division, which is funded by FCTO, which is an SDG monitoring project with the aim that strengthening the collaboration between national statistical system agencies, basically formalizing data, metadata exchange process, which the project will also look into at promoting the use of standardized definition, methodologies, and data exchange format. May we move to the next slide, please? Okay. On the technical, which is quite an technical assistance, which is a more, we will say that more the engagement here, that we provide technical support to the National SDG Data Coordination Committee and also the SDG cell, which is situated within the BBS. We also provide support. RC is a member of the Apex Committee of SDG implementation in Bangladesh. So the guidance is also provided at that level. So, and also from the technical assistant perspective, we are engaging with the private sector, ensuring the engagement with the private sector working groups on SDG implementation in Bangladesh. Apart from that, we extend technical support on national data generation process following the national 5-year planning process. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so here I just will not go through it, but this is some of the glimpse of the activities that UN agencies are doing, which are in a large scale. So for example, the SDG tracker, UNDP is supporting BBS on use of innovative sources, technologies, methods for the streamlined production and dissemination of better, more timely and disaggregated data. Then I just like to highlight during the pandemic, WHO supported BBS in visualizing the impact of COVID-19 on SDG achievement and progress monitoring via COVID impact and recovery management system. UNICEF also supported, which is also replicated in many countries, which is mixed and a remarkable step towards exploring the spectrum of issues that affect the lives of women and children. Next slide, please. Okay, so here I just want to bring the practical experience, how we supported on the VNR process. So if we look into it, VNR, Bangladesh participated in VNR 2020, which is the second time they have participated, and they have participated for all 17 SDGs. So RCO played a role, an important role, not only coordinating with the UN agency, the custodian agency within the country, but also coordinated with the development partners. So we did support it, technical support provided to the coordinating ministry in Bangladesh for 17 goals. There are 17 coordinating ministries. So we coordinated ministries and division in preparing their draft reports. We have tried to support on the consolidated comments from the development partners. There are some of the SDGs specifically we supported with the stakeholder consultation. We have supported on the mounting the study on SDG Progress Report 2020 and also VNR 2020 focusing on the environmental dimensions. We can move to the next one. Okay, so I have already mentioned about the SDG monitoring project. Under this project, the highlights of this project, we are going to look into four key areas. One is the strengthening the collaboration of national statistical agencies. through formalizing data metadata exchange process, improve. We will also look into it after the during the implementation, improve online national repository of SDG indicators and metadata, engage stakeholders on SDG monitoring through consultation, workshop, meetings. So we have planned a couple of capacity development initiative under this project as well. And we also target to compile and publish metadata for national SDG indicators. To this, I have come to end of my presentation. I just wanted to do it quickly so that my colleague Alamgir Hussain can come in and he can also shed some light on the cooperation and partnership. Over to you, Alamgir.
Thank you. I would like to just add 2 points here. We have the partnership with the UNICEF, a good partnership with UNICEF, because UNICEF is supporting the SDGs BBS to prepare the documents, especially the guidelines for the data action plan up to 2030, and how we can go for the disaggregation according to the local requirements. So this is a good and benchmark work for BBS. So we have published a very fruitful and very time-befitting publications this year. So we are also getting support from the UNICEF and other UN agencies in providing the training on the, especially the compiling the administrative data. Not only with the UN agencies, we have a good partnership with the other ministries, intervening ministries, data providing ministries, agencies who are working in the national statistical system. So through the online platform, as is a tracker, all the actors are actually directly involved in this process in implementation and monitoring of the SDGs in Bangladesh. So all the actors, stakeholders are now in one shed, under one shed, where we are working together with the support from the UN agencies, the civil society, government, and all other stakeholders, even the private sectors. So in Bangladesh, the partnership is really a wonderful one, so which we have made during this last 5 years to achieving the ultimate goal of the SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alamgir and Halima, for your sharing your excellent experience on working with different partners, working with different agencies on the SDG monitors and support the VNRs. We see the SDG tracker. I think it's pretty well known because it has done a great job. So a big congratulations, and we also happy to work together on the your SDF CDO project with you. So thanks. Let's move on to our next panelist. We'll welcome Ms. Nazira Karimaliva, the head of Sustainable Development and Environment Statistical Department from National Statistical Committee of Kyrgyzstan Republic. So the floor is yours, Nazira.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear participants of today's meetings. I also would like to say thank you, UNDESA, for inviting me to share Kyrgyzstan experience in building partnership for better data for SDG with UN country team, and also to share our experience in the support which we get from UNCT in building national monitoring and reporting system for SDG. Next slide, please. First, I would like to emphasize that there is a coordination council on implementation adaptation SDG in Kyrgyzstan was set up, and this coordination council includes representatives from different stakeholders, including government agencies, non-government organizations, statistical office, private sector, parliament, and also the coordinating council include representative of UN system and NJZ.
But moreover, as last year in 2020, Kyrgyzstan represent its first national voluntary report. There are 5 working groups were set up, and to ensure the comprehensive approach to each group, and to each group, different stakeholders also were included to these groups. There are more working groups, and the representatives of the UN system also was included to this group, and participate in discussion and participate in the whole process of preparing the national voluntary report. So.
Nazira, we cannot hear you.
Sorry. And now,
Yeah, now fine.
Next slide, please. Actually, Kyrgyzstan, as I said, is actively working on implementing and implementation and adaptation SDG, and we had like participation on the global groups by ourselves as like IUG groups, and in the steering committee of UNSC, and also in the task force of developing climate change statistics indicators, the task force on SEA. Here I would like to say, or to emphasize that there are different areas of cooperating with UN system, because we get different support, like capacity building, technical assisting. Also, we get communication, communication skills from them, and here also they participate in coordination in planning process. I would like to give some examples. So as we start to work on SDG from the beginning, we have, with the support of UNSD DFID project, we had a statistical capacity assessment. It was very good startup for us, because it helped us to understand where we are and what kind of data gaps we have, and what should be the next to develop the statistic for SDG. Also, we had the MAPS mission, which aims to help government to adaptate SDG to national in the Kyrgyzstan according to the national priorities and national needs. Also, in 2018, we had a mix with the support of UNICEF. Actually, this round of mix allow us to collect additional 35 SDG indicators. And also, we thanks to the support of UNDP and another UN CTT, we accepted a new law on official statistics, and of course this law allow us to produce data according to the UN principles on producing statistics, official statistics. Here it should be emphasized that with the support of UNSC and another UN agencies, we organize global assessment in statistics, which allow us to understand also where we are now on the which step on developing our statistics. This assessment allow us to prepare new NDC, and I mean National Statistical Program of Developing, and for next 5 years. and this global assessment is also very good. How to say, a very good tool to see our gaps as well and our needs. And unfortunately, due to the COVID situation, we didn't organize our census 2020, but we still on the process to prepare it, and we hope to organize it our census this year. But thanks to UNFPA, we get huge support from them as well to organize this census. And actually this census is a little bit different because we have add additional questionnaire, module, which allow us to collect data on disability. So it's first time when we can collect data, very good data with a disaggregation on disability. Also within the UNSD DFID project, we have managed to develop our SDG national reporting platform. It's based on Open SDG platform, and which was developed by UK and USA. And this platform include not only data but also metadata. Next slide, please. And actually, we also get the capacity building on implementing SDMX format. So our data nowadays for data in our data for SDG nowadays in SDMX format, and also disseminated in our platform. Moreover, with the UN Women in Paris 21, we get a pilot work on implementing ADAPT tool, which also allow us to see data gaps and data gaps for preparing SDG statistics. Here, I would like to say that there are a lot of work which was supported by different UN country teams, and like workshops, seminars, and different events which allow us allow to increase our capacity as a statisticians, also like government organization, private sectors, but with all these activities still have to be done, as we already present our VNR, but our work only started. So as a next steps, we are planning to prepare our roadmap on SDG statistics, also prepare the communication strategy for SDG statistics, and prepare our metadata in SDMX format to disseminate in our SDG platform. Here also we have ambition plan to create SDG database, which will work as a NRPC backend for our national reporting platform. It's that's all. Actually, it's just some examples how we are working in collaborating with UNST in Kyrgyzstan, and hope it was useful. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Nazira, for sharing the experience of working on different areas on statistics with the UN agencies. And let's move on to our next panelist. I would like to introduce you Mr. Mark Herwold, the Associate Director of Division of Data analytics, planning, and monitor from UNICEF. I think Mark probably is well known for many of you. So Mark will share us of UNICEF work with the national statistical system and with the UN country team on data, the statistical for SDGs. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, and it's really great to be with you today. I feel like I'm not only surrounded by family and friends, but also half of my history. I spent 5 wonderful years as UNICEF representative in Azerbaijan, and it's really exciting to see all the data work that's coming on there now. And my second ever field trip for UNICEF was as the first mixed global coordinator to Kyrgyzstan, to the Kyrgyz Republic, and to run a workshop for the first round of mix that they did there. So lots of exciting things going on. I am standing between you and getting to your next meeting, so I will try to be brief. I am just going to touch on a bit of why we collaborate and partner, how we do so, and for what. So from UNICEF's point of view, supporting the monitoring of the SDGs is hand in hand with supporting the monitoring of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And we look upon the SDGs as an expression of the different aspects of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And basically, if we monitor one, we're monitoring the other. So that's very important to us. At the same time, we have to recognize that there are a lot of data gaps. This is a summary of SDG indicators related to children and the extent. Well, we grouped them into 5 thematic areas, and then we look to see have countries already achieved global targets? Are they on track to achieve global targets? Are they off track, need acceleration to achieve global targets? Or, and most worrying, are there no data at all? So the pale gray, I'm not sure it comes out at all here, and the dark gray. The pale gray means there are no data points for a set of indicators. The dark gray means there aren't enough data points to be able to look at trends. So in the whole area of survive and thrive, there's quite a lot of data. But when we're looking at protection against violence and similar issues, even learning achievement, because the SDGs, of course, pushed us beyond school attendance to learning achievement. And apart from the mix, there are very few ways that we can measure that. So big data gaps there, and so on. So, so the problem is enormous. The need is very great. And so what do we do? Well, the main thing that we do is to work with others. So whether it's methodological development or innovation, as I like to call it, because methodological development is just what statisticians say. But developing new measures, like we recently completed a 2-year set of work to find ways to gather and standardize and make internationally comparable rates on stillbirths, which are a rather hidden problem because the data have not been there to be able to look at them. We have global, country by country consultations on the data values in SDG indicators to make sure that we're fully aligned with countries when we make these assessments of internationally comparable data on SDGs. And we work together with countries, national statistics offices in particular, but also line ministries, with academic partners, and of course with our UN partner agencies in all different ways on developing these new tools, on developing protocols and technical guidelines for data collection and data use. So this is all kind of headquarters level collaboration. It's headquarters and all of those who are practitioners in the field. And we also work out of headquarters on helping countries improve data management. We work quite a lot hand in hand with the UN DESO project on SDG monitoring, particularly around ways of establishing a SDMX compatible database to be able to not only store and monitor and display the SDG data information, but to be able to exchange it seamlessly. And of course, we work together with countries, we work together with other UN agencies, we work together with academic institutions on analyses and communication around different data issues. But not only from the headquarters level, at our regional level, there's increased and I think really fruitful collaboration at the regional level with the regional economic and social commissions and the regional DCO, bringing together all of the different UN players. And particularly we have a strong focus in most regions on how we can collaborate better to be able to offer the kind of support that countries need. And at country level, you've heard talk of the mix. I'm the grandfather of mix, but this is very much a country focused. This is building capacity and control of the government over the kinds of household survey data that they collect and use. But also capacity in measuring different things. For example, we've been working recently on how to make sure that children in institutions are not left out, because they won't be included in household surveys. So how can they be included in data collection and monitoring? I mentioned about the SDG database management and display. And one of my particular passions is how we can work within the UN system and then with all of our partners to increase what I call data savvy, which is the confidence, the competence in, and the conviction to use data in decisions in government, in civil society, within our own organizations. And we cannot neglect, and we have to get a jump ahead of the use of frontier data. That's big data, digital exhaust. It's remote sensing, satellite imagery, and geospatial analysis. It's e-government data. All of those kinds of data can be very fruitful. They can be very misleading and particularly challenging in data poor environments and the kinds of biases that can be introduced by that. So that all has to be done in collaboration, in particular frontier data, a lot of collaboration with the private sector, obviously. My final slide, you'll be glad to hear, is really looking to see how we can keep developing these partnerships, how we can collaborate better. And one of my recent tasks is to bring together the UN system's offer through multi-country offices to particularly small island developing states. And it became very clear to me that our usual headquarters mechanisms are kind of supply driven. They say, oh, what is it that we're doing? Or what is it that we have? Or what is it that we plan that could be useful in these situations? And we have to flip that on its head and say, what is the need? What is the demand? And we have to, of course, help inform the demand. But we need, as our starting point, to be able to say, what is it that this country or this region or sub-region needs? And then what is it that we have across the whole spectrum of the UN system which can help to fulfill those needs? And so the network of data officers and statisticians is a wonderful kind of interface between the global view of things and the country by country view of things, and a great place to be able to be sharing what is happening, what isn't happening but should be happening, and what kinds of things we can offer. So as always, we look forward to continue collaborating. It's only by collaborating we can fix this massive problem of data gaps and data not being used, and really make a difference, because there's so much to do and too few of us trying to do it. So we've got to work together to do it. So that's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark, for sharing the UNICEF experience on collaboration at a different level, global, regional, and country level, and use different ways of collaborating with different data partners. Also, thanks for emphasizing the supply and also look at the demand from the data use. And I apologize to everyone, due to the technical difficulty at the beginning, we're a little delayed, so we don't have time for the question answers session at this, but we can continue our discussions at the global network, and it's a platform that we can exchange our experience and share share our views. So I would like to point out that my colleague Alexandra Loksky and Yuxi Zhang are very active and support the network. And so if you have a question, please feel free to reach out to me, Alex, and Yuxi. So here I would like to thank our panelists for sharing their good experiences, and we will continue rely on and to build partnership with you continuously support data statistics for the implementation of the SDGs. So I also like to thank for all the participants for joining this SET event. Thank you very much, everyone. So have a good day and continue your other SET event of the Statistical Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.